The National Electrical Code, or NEC, has specific guidelines for grounding well casings. If the well casing is metal, it is required to be grounded. Non-metal well casings are not required to be grounded, but it is recommended. For metal well casings, the NEC specifies the following. Firstly, the grounding conductor must be bare or green insulated. Secondly, the grounding conductor must be #4 American wire gauge or larger. Thirdly, the grounding connection must be made to the well casing at least a foot above grade or ground level. Fourthly, the grounding conductor must be routed to the service panel or other grounding electrode. If the well driller refused to ground the well casing with a #4 bare wire to the service panel, this may be a violation of the NEC requirements. However, it's possible that the driller has provided an alternative grounding method that complies with the NEC. Possible alternative grounding methods include using a grounding rod, where a grounding rod driven into the ground near the well casing is used to provide a grounding connection, and the rod is connected to the well casing with a grounding conductor. Another method involves a grounding plate. A grounding plate buried in the ground near the well casing can also provide a grounding connection, with the plate connected to the well casing using a grounding conductor. Given that there might be an alternative grounding method in place, it is recommended to consult with a qualified electrician to inspect the grounding system and ensure it meets all applicable codes and standards. The primary purpose of grounding a well casing, especially a metal one, is to provide a path for fault current in the event of an electrical malfunction, preventing the casing from becoming energized and posing a shock hazard. Grounding ensures that any stray voltage is safely conducted back to the electrical source, tripping a breaker or fuse and cutting off power to the circuit. This is a critical safety measure. The size of the grounding conductor, as specified by the NEC, is crucial to handle the potential fault current. A #4 American wire gauge copper conductor is generally considered sufficient for this purpose, but local codes and specific circumstances may require a larger size. It's important to consult the NEC tables and local amendments to determine the appropriate conductor size for the specific installation. The connection point, at least a foot above grade, is intended to prevent corrosion and physical damage to the grounding connection. This height helps to keep the connection away from standing water and soil contaminants that can accelerate corrosion. The grounding conductor should be securely fastened to the well casing using a suitable clamp or connector that is listed for grounding purposes. The grounding electrode system, which includes the service panel ground and any supplementary grounding electrodes like ground rods or plates, should be properly installed and maintained. The resistance to ground should be low enough to ensure effective fault current clearing. The NEC specifies acceptable resistance levels and testing methods to verify the effectiveness of the grounding system. If a grounding rod is used as an alternative grounding method, it should be driven into the ground to a depth that ensures contact with permanently moist soil. The NEC specifies minimum depths for grounding rods, typically 8 feet or more, depending on soil conditions and local requirements. The grounding rod should be made of a conductive material, such as copper or copper-clad steel, and should be of sufficient diameter to withstand corrosion and physical damage. If a grounding plate is used, it should be buried below the frost line to prevent heaving and damage from freezing soil. The grounding plate should be made of a conductive material, such as copper or galvanized steel, and should have a sufficient surface area to provide a low resistance connection to the earth. The location of the grounding rod or plate should be carefully chosen to avoid underground utilities and other potential hazards. It's essential to maintain a clear understanding of the NEC requirements and to follow them diligently. Ignoring these requirements can create a dangerous situation and expose people to the risk of electrical shock. Remember, the purpose of grounding is to protect people and property from electrical hazards. If there are questions or concerns about the proper grounding of a well casing, consulting with a licensed electrician is always recommended. A qualified electrician can assess the specific situation, identify any potential hazards, and ensure that the grounding system is installed correctly and in compliance with all applicable codes and standards. They can also perform tests to verify the effectiveness of the grounding system and provide recommendations for maintenance and upgrades. Moreover, understanding local codes and amendments to the NEC is crucial. Local jurisdictions may have additional requirements or interpretations that must be followed. An electrician familiar with the local codes can ensure that the installation meets all applicable requirements. When dealing with electrical systems, safety should always be the top priority. Taking the time to properly ground a well casing can prevent serious accidents and protect the people who use the well and the property it serves. Grounding is a fundamental principle of electrical safety, and it should never be overlooked or taken lightly. In addition to the grounding of the well casing itself, it is also important to ensure that the pump motor and any associated electrical equipment are properly grounded. The green ground wire that runs from the pump motor back to the controller should be securely connected to a grounding terminal in the controller enclosure. The controller enclosure should also be properly grounded to the service panel or other grounding electrode. This creates a complete grounding path for the entire well system, ensuring that any fault current will be safely conducted back to the source. When using underground feeder or cable to supply power to the well pump, it is important to use the correct size of cable and to ensure that the cable is properly buried and protected from physical damage. The NEC specifies the minimum burial depth for UF cable depending on the voltage and the location of the cable. The cable should also be protected from rocks, roots, and other sharp objects that could damage the insulation. It is also important to properly seal the point where the UF cable enters the well casing to prevent water from entering the casing and potentially damaging the electrical components. A watertight fitting or sealant should be used to create a secure seal. Regular inspections of the well system's grounding and electrical connections are crucial to ensure that they remain in good condition. Corrosion, loose connections, and damaged wiring can compromise the effectiveness of the grounding system and create a safety hazard. Any problems should be addressed promptly by a qualified electrician. Furthermore, consider the potential for lightning strikes. Well systems are particularly vulnerable to lightning strikes, which can cause significant damage to the pump motor, wiring, and other electrical components. A lightning protection system can help to protect the well system from lightning damage by providing a path for lightning current to flow safely to ground. A lightning protection system typically includes lightning rods mounted on the well casing, grounding conductors connected to the rods, and a grounding electrode system. The system should be designed and installed by a qualified lightning protection contractor. When working on any electrical system, it is essential to follow all safety precautions. Always disconnect the power before working on any electrical components. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. Never work on electrical systems in wet or damp conditions. If you are not comfortable working on electrical systems, hire a qualified electrician to do the work. The NEC serves as a comprehensive guide to safe electrical installations. It is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest technological advancements and safety practices. Staying informed about the latest NEC requirements is essential for anyone working with electrical systems. Continuing education courses, seminars, and online resources can help to stay up to date on the NEC and other relevant codes and standards. In conclusion, grounding a well casing is a critical safety measure that must be performed in accordance with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. By following the proper procedures and using the appropriate materials, it is possible to ensure that the well system is safe and reliable. If there are any doubts or concerns, consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the installation is done correctly. Remember, electrical safety is always the top priority. Proper grounding prevents electrical shock hazards, protects equipment from damage, and ensures the reliable operation of the electrical system. The initial assessment of whether the well casing is metal or non-metal is of paramount importance, as this dictates whether grounding is mandatory per the NEC. If the casing is indeed metal, the requirement for grounding becomes non-negotiable. The grounding conductor size, being #4 American wire gauge or larger, is not arbitrary. It is calculated to safely carry the anticipated fault current back to the source, allowing the overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker, to trip and energize the circuit. This rapid clearing of the fault minimizes the duration of the electrical hazard, reducing the risk of electric shock or fire. The connection point of the grounding conductor to the well casing, mandated to be at least 1 foot above grade, serves a dual purpose. Firstly, it mitigates the risk of corrosion that can occur at or below ground level due to moisture and soil chemistry. Secondly, it provides a readily accessible point for inspection and maintenance of the grounding connection. The routing of the grounding conductor back to the service panel or other grounding electrode ensures that the well casing is connected to the overall grounding system of the building. This interconnectedness is vital for creating an equipotential plane, minimizing voltage differences between various conductive surfaces and reducing the likelihood of electric shock. Alternative grounding methods, such as grounding rods or plates, are permissible under the NEC, but they must meet specific requirements to ensure their effectiveness. The grounding rod, when used, must be driven deep enough to establish reliable contact with the earth, typically to a depth where the soil remains consistently moist. The grounding plate, similarly, must be buried at a depth that provides adequate contact with the earth and prevents it from being affected by frost heave. The connection between the grounding conductor and the grounding rod or plate must be made with a listed connector, ensuring a secure and corrosion-resistant bond. Regular inspection of the grounding system is crucial for maintaining its integrity. Over time, corrosion, physical damage, or loose connections can degrade the effectiveness of the grounding system. Visual inspections should be conducted periodically to check for signs of these issues. Additionally, the resistance of the grounding system should be tested to verify that it remains within acceptable limits. A high-resistance grounding system can impede the flow of fault current, increasing the risk of electrical hazards. In situations where the well driller refuses to comply with the NEC requirements for grounding the well casing, it is essential to assert the importance of safety and compliance. Explain the potential consequences of not properly grounding the well casing, including the risk of electric shock and fire. If necessary, involve the local electrical inspector or other authority to ensure that the work is performed in accordance with the code. The cost of properly grounding a well casing is relatively small compared to the potential cost of an electrical accident. Investing in safety is always a wise decision. Moreover, it's essential to document the grounding system thoroughly. Keep records of the materials used, the installation procedures followed, and the test results obtained. This documentation can be valuable for future maintenance, troubleshooting, and insurance purposes. Educating others about the importance of grounding is also crucial. Share the knowledge about the NEC requirements and the potential hazards of improper grounding with family members, neighbors, and others who may be affected. Raising awareness can help to prevent accidents and promote a culture of electrical safety. In instances where the well casing is non-metallic, while not mandated by the NEC to be grounded, the recommendation to ground it stems from a safety-conscious approach. Grounding a non-metallic casing can provide a path for static electricity to dissipate, reducing the risk of sparks that could ignite flammable materials. It can also help to protect the electrical equipment associated with the well, such as the pump motor and control system, from surges and other electrical disturbances. When grounding a non-metallic well casing, the same principles apply as with a metallic casing. Use a grounding conductor of appropriate size, connect it securely to the casing, and route it back to the service panel or other grounding electrode. Consider using a grounding rod or plate to provide a dedicated grounding point for the well system. The grounding of the pump motor itself is another critical aspect of electrical safety. The pump motor should have a dedicated grounding conductor that is connected to the motor frame and routed back to the controller enclosure. This grounding conductor provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source in the event of a motor insulation failure. The controller enclosure should also be properly grounded to the service panel or other grounding electrode. This ensures that the entire well system is connected to the building's grounding system, creating an equipotential plane and minimizing voltage differences. In addition to grounding, other safety measures should be considered for well systems. These include installing a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, to protect against electric shock, using surge protection devices to protect against voltage surges, and ensuring that all electrical connections are properly insulated and protected from the environment. The GFCI is a particularly important safety device for well systems. It constantly monitors the current flowing in the circuit and trips the circuit breaker if it detects a ground fault. A ground fault occurs when current leaks from the circuit to ground, which can happen if someone touches a live wire or if there is a short circuit in the equipment. The GFCI trips the circuit breaker within milliseconds of detecting a ground fault, preventing serious injury or death. Surge protection devices, or SPDs, are designed to protect electrical equipment from voltage surges caused by lightning strikes, power line disturbances, or other events. SPD divert the surge current to ground, preventing it from damaging sensitive electronic components. SPD should be installed at the service panel and at any subpanels that supply power to the well system. Proper insulation of electrical connections is essential for preventing short circuits and electric shock hazards. All electrical connections should be made with listed connectors and insulated with electrical tape or heat shrink tubing. The connections should be protected from moisture, dust, and other contaminants. The NEC provides detailed requirements for the installation of electrical connections. Maintaining a safe and reliable well system requires a proactive approach. Regular inspections, testing, and maintenance are essential for identifying and addressing potential problems before they become serious. Keep a record of all inspections, tests, and maintenance activities. This documentation can be valuable for tracking the performance of the system and for identifying any trends that may indicate a developing problem. Finally, remember that electrical safety is a shared responsibility. Everyone who uses or works on the well system should be aware of the potential hazards and should take steps to prevent accidents. Educate others about the importance of grounding, GFCI protection, surge protection, and other safety measures. By working together, it is possible to create a safe and reliable well system for everyone.